Welcome to the Fans Ed Sports Show. Talk about the X's and O's. Talk and break down for the success of each team.
Slow your roll.
Whether he has something to do with it or not, we are adding that to the clock.
No team gonna freaking run the ball like that. That's challenging your manhood.
Not too much.
People still remember that.
So look, I don't need to hear anything from you, Mike.
It's been a crazy week for college football.
They value seniority.
When they're looking at the schedule, that's a tough schedule. Go beat everyone.
You already know.
Let's go.
You already know.
Welcome to the Fans Ed Sports Show, hosted by 216 Mike. Our guy Cam Truther is not here today, but we got your very own producer, Walt K. Disney, in this show, man. Welcome to the Fans Edge, everybody. Disney, how have you been?
What's up? Good. Hey, I don't know if people know, but last week
You just got off the road.
I was on the road at the SEC Champs. But before I get into it and tell you how it was, I need y'all to do me a favor. Go ahead and click that like and subscribe button for us and share tonight. We appreciate y'all joining in and tuning in. But yeah, I managed to snag a ticket to the SEC Champs. Got to see Bama and Georgia play in Georgia at that dome. And when I say that atmosphere was crazy, it was crazy. Hey, and Bama came off on top. So, you know, some people call it an upset, but I knew it was going to happen. So, hey, Bama's on their way, to Cali for the Rose Bowl, and we'll see what happens. We'll see what happens. But yeah, we got a lot of stuff coming to y'all today. So let's go ahead and get right into it. Speaking of which, we got the recap basically from last week's championship weekend. We got Bama upsetting Georgia, Michigan, doing their business, of course, against Iowa. Florida State, I would say, barely walks away with a dub on that one as well. It was a very close game. Washington takes out Oregon, and Texas overcome Oklahoma State. So, Mike, what did you see what did you notice from these teams in this championship weekend?
Man, honestly, everything kind of went how I thought it was going to go, except for the Oregon-Washington game. I thought that Oregon was going to come out with that dub, those teams being on the neutral field. I want to say I kind of went on the record on one of our shows and said that. But that's not what happened. And I'll tell you this, that Washington defense is what was more surprising. How physical they were in the trenches, just triggering, firing off the ball. They just looked like they wanted it more. And it caused Bo Nix a whole lot of issues in that game. Texas, I expected them to do what they did against Oklahoma State. A lot of people was worried like, Oklahoma State is the kryptonite. But if you remember, Texas was one of my top teams at the very, very beginning of the the offseason, not even the beginning of the season.
Yep.
So I told you guys Texas was going to win the Big 12. That was one of my on the record moments, man. So that team up north, they did kind of what I thought that they were going to do. I will say this. I was shocked that they did not put up many points on Iowa. Now, I know Iowa has a good defense and things like that. They always have like a top 10 defense, just suck on offense. But them sucking on offense is going to give you more possessions, things like that. And I just felt like they could have put up 35, 40 against a team with no offense as well. Also, they were kind of handed the ball in plus territory a few times. So things worked out. That just is what it is. And the Florida State, I understand true freshman quarterback. But goodness, you couldn't even put up 28 against Louisville, and the Louisville quarterback, I think they were saying like during the game, I think it was in the first half, one of his stat totals was like 2 for 12. And you can't score 28. Like all you had to do was put like 28 points on the board, and you didn't even do that.
Didn't even do that.
Yeah, so I know a lot of people are mad about the Florida State stuff. I just think it is what it is, man. You just got to suck it up, man.
Hey, what I say with Florida State is I'm crying Tennessee tears. The same thing happened to us last year, when we had an injured quarterback. So I feel that for Florida State, but I mean, a lot of people are saying no one wants to see another TCU Georgia game.
And that's the thing, but I'm pretty sure we can get in that later in the show when we talk about the CFP matchups.
Yeah. Okay. Well, speaking of, so let's go ahead and move on so we can get into it. Let's talk about some transfer portal news. We get some notable players. Kyle McCord enters in the transfer portal. PJ from Oregon State, Dylan Averill from Oklahoma, Dante Moore from UCLA. That's just a few noticeable quarterbacks. And then we still have other players, and it's just beginning. Is it the NIL talking, or do players want to win? Is it an influence, or is it a mixture of both? What are you thinking, Mike?
I'm thinking that it's definitely a mixture of both, and I'm not knocking these players. Like DJU, right? He went over there out there to Oregon State. He felt that coaching staff, all of that. I don't think that's really NIL. He felt that coaching staff, everything was going to be better for him, right? Well, now that coaching staff is not going to be there anymore. So, of course, it's only right for him to hit the portal without having any uncertainty, and then this being his last year. So that's understandable. Now, you see some guys that are going in the portal. Guess what? I know, like, a lot of people have been hitting me up like, man, what's going on with all these guys hitting the portal, man? Like, I see a Jair Brown. He hit the portal, and I'm just like, well, if you watch the Ohio State game, you see a true freshman who got multiple freshman All-American honors or whatever as a true freshman at cornerback that took his spot. Then I'm like, man, they also played another freshman cornerback in sparing time, and it was Calvin Simpson Hunt. So I'm like, there was no room for him, right? Same thing with just other guys, man. Sometimes your position, you get recruited over. It happens. I mean, you're even seeing some guys who are starters. Hey, you got that opportunity. I just feel like this young guy coming up behind you, his ceiling is higher than yours. He has more potential than you. We gave you all the opportunities. It's not going to work going forward. And also, sometimes you got to think about this as from the coaching standpoint, right? If you might need to change up the culture or something in there, sometimes you might need to push those older guys out, get those new guys. And I'll say this for Ohio State fans, right? Instead of allowing certain or all of these guys to return, right? Most of these guys have not beat the main rival. Do you really want that returning in your room? Right? Do you want that mentality in your room? Because yes, now these guys can be like, okay, it's a 12-team playoff. We still gonna get in the playoff. That's not the mentality that you want to have in your room. You know what I'm saying? You want guys who are gonna go out there and be dog every single day. So those are just other things that happens in the portal. I will say this though. Did Oklahoma lose their offensive coordinator or QB coach? Because I thought it was surprising. I mean, a lot of people are saying that it's surprising, but starting quarterback like a Kyle McCord, starting quarterback like a Dylan Gabriel, those guys are gone. You know what I'm saying? Just out of there. That's kind of surprising. You're talking about two starting quarterbacks. Now, the Kyle McCord thing doesn't shock me because obviously I'm an Ohio State fan. I kind of know some things, and I just believe that what we saw from Kyle McCord was he was soft all season. And Ryan Day went ahead that day before saying, hey, the quarterback competition is going to be open for the bowl game and possibly going into the 2024 season. Nothing was handed to Kyle. I'll tell you this. There's a reason why Jalen Milroe is in the CFP, because when Nick Saban benched him, he took that as the time where, hey, I can grind my face off, get better, and not just continuously be staying stagnant or whatever, but I can elevate my play, right? That's
Right.
who you want on your team. That's not who Kyle McCord is, bro. It's just not. And then you see, I'll tell you another issue with the transfer portal. You're seeing the Texas A&M players tweeting out, "Hey, I knew since my freshman year that NIL money was funny." You know, so I mean, you're seeing mass exodus of Texas A&M players just hitting the portal. It's the Wild Wild West. This is something that the NCAA definitely needs to get a hold of. That they just have not at all, man. So let's see. We got our guy Craig Lewis said processed out, all good. Chip hurts a bit, but if that means Trey coming back, we good. I'll say this, man. I think that Chip leaving hurts the Buckeyes regardless. And the reason why I say that is I think Trey was one of those guys who you just want to say, hey, I think it's time for you to go. Reason being is kind of for his own well-being. You're a running back. Running backs don't got that many miles. You faced injuries. I want to say every single year you're at Ohio State. That's not what the NFL wants to see at all, right? Also, when you're talking about the biggest games, the games we lost, one of the reasons we lost is we went away from Chip Trainum. Go back and look at his average. Go back and watch the film. That man was averaging 6-7 yards a carry. So for you to just sit there and just be like, oh, it's okay. I don't know why people are upset about Chip. I was upset that Chip wasn't freaking on the field more with the ball in that game. Like, the reason why is because, yes, he might get hit at the line of scrimmage. But what I said that Ohio State needs in that back, especially in the Big Ten when you're talking about trenches, is a back who can carry that ball for an extra 2 to 3 yards when they get stopped at the line of scrimmage. And that's something that Chip Trainum did. So, what's going on, folks? Salute to y'all. Yeah, your team. We'll be talking about y'all in a minute, man. Definitely, for sure.
Definitely will. But hey, while I have y'all here, make sure y'all go ahead and hit that like and subscribe button for me. And make sure you share it so, people can also be in the know. We appreciate y'all tuning in tonight. All right. Moving on. We got the finally 4 Heisman candidates. The ceremony for the Heisman Memorial Trophy is going to be a quarterback party, it looks like. Once again, the winner will be announced live this Saturday. I believe LSU quarterback, we got Jaden Daniels, Ohio State wide receiver, we got Marvin Harris Jr., Oregon quarterback, we got Bo Nix, and Washington quarterback, we got Michael Penix. I kind of all knew that it was going to be narrowed down to these 4. Especially with Jaden Daniels and the way he's been carrying, LSU and throwing with the season high. And a lot of people also say that, this is the year for the transfer quarterback. This is, they see themselves making it to this Heisman's finalist special. With Jaden Daniels, he became the first player to throw over 350 yards and rush for over 200 yards in a single game against Florida. So they said he is kind of the front runner. Mike, do you think is anyone anywhere close to Jaden Daniels? Or do you see Marvin Harrison Jr. walking away with this?
So, the way it's kind of been is like what Caleb Williams won it last year. He was probably the only player in the finals. I think he even said it in his speech, right? He was like, yeah, I won the Heisman, but you guys are going to play for the CFP, right? You got 2 guys, actually 3 guys that are sitting as Heisman finalists who will not be competing for the CFP. I kind of want to go and look that up because you at least got 2 or more people competing for the Heisman. And this time competing for the CFP, and this time it's only 1. So I think that's kind of interesting. I do believe that Jaden Daniels is the front runner. I like him as a quarterback. Hope that he comes to my Steelers. Please let him come to my Steelers because Kenny Two Gloves is not it. But Bo Nix, I just felt like he hurt his chances. Yeah, they went ahead, put him on billboards in New York, put him in billboards down here in Texas, put him on billboards trying to get him the Heisman. From the beginning of the offseason, they were really pushing it. But in his two biggest games of the year, he choked, especially in the first half. Michael Penix, man, the guy's undefeated. If he was to win it, I'd have no argument. What he has been able to do with the Washington Huskies, man, they thought that Jake Browning was, their best quarterback of the decade and things like that. No. Of the last 10 years is actually my guy Michael Penix, man. Dude just went out there going crazy, has led them, but he also has some dynamic wide receivers to help him out as well. So that's a good thing. Now, Marv, I really believe like Marv didn't have the stats, but if you're talking about like who meant more to their team or to their offense and things like that, yeah, Marv meant everything to the Ohio State offense. Don't think that it would have been able to do what it did against Penn State, stay in the games that it did without Marv. Also, he was trying to show his breakaway ability, but he was hindered by his quarterback. And I just think that it's telling, and everybody knows, like, Marv could have really been a serious contender for this award if he had a quarterback. So when you're talking about players that actually mean something, yeah, Marv should be part of this, but we know it's normally a stat award. So obviously his name, that's a celebrity that he got around him, kind of helped him as well. So plus Ohio State viewership, you're gonna love that. Yeah, every time.
The point you brought up about, Michael Penix being the only one playing in the CFP, I didn't even think about that. So he could for sure be one of the leading front runners as well. And I think it would be a pretty good surprise. I think it's well deserving as well, especially for what they have done for the Pac-12. I know a lot of people were talking about how irrelevant it was for a while there. And, is the Pac-12 doing? But it has produced some really good quarterbacks the last couple of years. The Pac-12, I've said this before, and I said I think the Pac-12 is the conference of quarterbacks, especially for the past, couple of years. And if Penix away, he did come in 8th last year in the Heisman voting, so he shot up. He improved this year. So he's definitely.
I think all these quarterbacks transferred.
Yeah, they're all transferred. Yeah, so that just tells you a lot about the coaching staff. And,
but yeah,
the people that you have.
If Michael Penix was to win it, man, shout out to him because of, obviously I've watched Michael Penix from his beginning because he was in the Big Ten at Indiana, had to go up against him, man, and just the injuries that he battled, the things that he battled with that coaching staff at Indiana, the inconsistencies at Indiana, and he had that 1 year, but it was COVID. And I just felt like they would have been able to really show who they were because that really was a good Indiana offense, really good team. And, they kind of just got handicapped because of, what the Rona was doing. But I'm so glad that this is what the transfer portal is supposed to do, be able to give guys like this an opportunity.
Yep. So we'll look forward to see, who takes it away on Saturday. All right. Let's move on to CFP matchups. So we got Michigan coming in at number 1. I hate to see it. Washington at number 2, Bama and Texas. So it looks like Bama and Michigan, the tie will play their best football of the season to upset the 2-time defending national champs Georgia Bulldogs to win the SEC title. And that victory got Alabama put into this year's college football playoffs to play the University of Michigan in the Rose Bowl. Now, Michigan opens up as a favorite against Bama. So how should the Crimson Tide and Nick Saban go into this game looking to beat a undefeated Michigan, who looks like, even with all the obstacles that have been thrown their way all season, managed to overcome? They're still in it. They're still kicking it. Even with Jim being suspended for a couple of games, they still managed to trek upwards this season. Mike, what's your thoughts on this?
Oh, what's my thoughts on this, man? It was so funny because I was in the space talking to folks, man, and I was talking to some Team Up North fans as well. They in the chat, and they just gonna have to admit it, man. They was definitely talking about, yeah, we about to get this easy dub. We got Florida State. Uh, that's what all I heard. Yeah, we about to get this easy dub. We about to show Ohio State what it means to get an easy dub in the CFP. This team has not won a bowl games without Brady Hoke's players since Jim Harbaugh has been there. This team has not won a CFP game. Hell, they haven't even led for 3 seconds in a CFP game. And so I think it's about to be more of the same. And yeah, y'all can go ahead clip me up saying that, but you could just tell that Bama won the mental game. When they showed the video of them reacting when they got Bama, just tells me, okay, that's not who they wanted to face. I see Team Up North fans spinning it, right? They sitting here saying, oh, it was a reaction of FSU getting snubbed. When has another blue blood gave a fuck about another conference or another team talking about getting snubbed, right? Hold on. And it contradicts everything that they were saying that JJ said and Harbaugh said. We don't care if we're in at 1, 2, 3, or 4. The goal is to just get in and go take care of business, right? So if anything is like, yeah, like, I mean, I just remember when some other people, from the good state it is, when they got matched up against them Bama boys, they was jumping up for joy, man. We get that opportunity. Think about this. We get the opportunity to take down one of the SEC's best teams, one of the, if not the GOAT of coaching in college football. Is that not the opportunity? You can sit here. Here's the thing. Why would you not want this game? They said you cheated. They said all of this. They suspended your coach. You go out there and you beat this team. Nobody can argue with you as the national championship, even if they vacated, right? Even if they vacated, nobody could argue with you, right? And Disney, I might have to go ahead and let you carry this show because I gotta send my guy Darnell the link real quick.
Yes.
You lucky that's not a
Look,
college.
he said you lucky it's not a
He
college
want to
show.
come in, man.
You gotta come in.
I gotta send him the link. Yeah.
Go ahead, send him the link.
Yeah,
But
Darnell,
yeah,
be checking your DMs real quick. No, I got your number. Check your phone. I'm about to send it to you. Yeah.
Hey, but this is going to be a crazy matchup again. As Alabama, they come in as underdogs. I remember watching Nick Saban as they were asking for his reaction, and you hardly ever see Nick smile, but I think he's pretty excited about this game. You can see like he had a little smirk. He was like, yeah. Especially after knocking out the number 1 team in the nation, coming in Georgia as the underdogs. People didn't think that, this was Bama's year. They definitely had a lot of kinks to work out this season, especially with quarterback issues and, finding their rhythm, and then as well as wide receiver room, and then their defense as well. So I would say hats off to Bama for, just keep trucking up and having that keep rolling throughout the rest of the season and getting to where they were, because a lot of people definitely did not see them here. They definitely didn't see them in the Rose Bowl. So hats off to Bama.
So yeah, I mean, and before if my guy Darnell gonna click in, man, but I do want to say this, right? Because there's all of this talk. Did the committee get it right? And I'm gonna say yes, they got it right. This is not about the 4 best deserving teams. This is about the 4 best teams. Now you can argue. I hear people arguing, oh, if it's the 4 best, then why did they not put Georgia in? They went undefeated and only lost in their conference game and all of this stuff, right? Same thing. I mean, we can make the case, that same argument with Ohio State. Won every game, but then the only game that they lost was that game of the season. It's the 4 best at the end of the season. And guess what? Let me tell you this. That Bama team that lost to Texas was not the same team, bro, that we saw at the end of the season. What we saw was we saw Jalen Milroe continue to get better and better and better. And like I said, even the when they benched him, right? Like I said,
Right.
he took it the best way possible and elevated his game. So everybody wants to be like, oh, look at the USF game, look at this game. That's not the same team, bro. They want to get the 4 best teams at the end of the season. In 2014, Ohio State, they had close games. Had a close game with a Penn State. Had a close game with a Michigan State. Had close games all year long until at the end of the season, it was 59-0. You could not deny it. And you cannot deny Bama, bro. Like, let's be real. If FSU get in there, are you going to bet your house? Are you going to bet your house on FSU? Come on, man. Let's just be honest. So it's okay for them to do what they did. Now, some people are going to argue about Texas. Oh, well, Texas shouldn't have got in. Texas shouldn't have got in. That would be crazy. And let me tell you why it would be crazy. Because you would have told every team in college football, right? You would have told every team in college football, scheduling that game at the end of the year, though. I mean, at the beginning of the year, don't matter. It will actually hurt you more than help you. And guess what? Nobody else will schedule that game. So then, hey, we'll just be having to watch Group of 5 FCS level schools just getting beat up on our dang on programs, bro. So, I mean, Florida State, it sucks. I hate it for them. But here's the thing. If you really feel like you them guys, go beat Georgia. Go beat Georgia and hang the banner, bruh. Because then, hey, like people saying, Georgia one of the 4 best teams still, right? Go beat Georgia, and then how they gonna deny you, right? So there we go. Hey, I see my guy Darnell in the lobby, man. Let's get him up here, man. He got some talking. What up, Darnell? How you doing, man?
Hey, Darnell, welcome.
What's up? Hey, I love what you guys do. I tune in pretty much every week. Support my boy Mike. We don't get along on the last week in November, you know. Throughout the season, we throw a little jazz, but he's still a stand-up guy. But Mike, I had to come on here, man. You can't, I can't have you slandering. See, I know them boys in the building. I can't have you slandering them boys. And if they knew I was in the comments, let somebody slander them like they scared to play Bama, they probably would not. They would not accept me. So look, that video was taken out of context. I think it would be foolish for anybody to get up. I'm not, you know me, I've never been the person to like push propaganda. So I think it would be foolish for anybody that's a Michigan fan to say, if you had to pick Florida State or Alabama, which one you going to pick? You're going to take Florida State, right? The Wounded Warrior. But I think for us, and I was talking to one of the coaches, like last year, I think they overlooked TCU because of the exact same thing you just talked about, right? Which is TCU the free kill. They just lost. They the weakest of the 3. We should be able to run them over, play our game, get to a natty. And then they got in there with that dog that had that underdog mentality. And they was like, yeah, we're going to show you just how much of an underdog we really are, right? So they overlooked them. I don't think bowl practice was as crisp as it needed to be, but you're playing Alabama. Them boys going to be locked in. them boys understand. Them boys understand look, they play their best games when they played against teams that everybody say they can't beat because they're not as talented as them. They play y'all like they play y'all, not because of the rivalry, but they also relish at the fact that everybody year in, year out say y'all the more talented team, right? So they feel like they got something to prove. Same thing with the Penn State game. You don't got your coach. They felt like they got something to prove. So I truly believe that they're ready to take the task on. They got this week off, and then they in the building next week with an attack on Bama. They understand that as a fan, well, forget the fan base expectations. They understand in that building that this year is the year they go win a natty. Blake Corum didn't come back to lose in the first round. I know Zenner got hurt, but Zenner and Keegan, who could have went to the league, they didn't come back to lose again in the first round. So I know them boys going to be up for the task. Is it going to be easy? Hell no. But I think you did say something that I can agree with. They go out and they beat a Bama team. Even though I was talking to the homie Chris today, me and Chris Drew was talking, this is still not the Bama that y'all had to face, right? It's a good Bama team, but it's not 14. It's not like 08, like them Bama teams that was like them ones, right? But if you beat Bama and then the next round you face a Texas or even a Michael Penix in Georgia, in Washington, you will have been able to tell everybody like, look, the sign shit, it happened. But we just took down 2 juggernauts to win this natty.
Yeah.
You can't take that away from us. No matter how you feel about the sign stuff, we had to go through Penn State, Ohio State, Alabama, and either Texas or Washington. So to me, that vindicates what these kids are doing on the field. Are they going to still get people to make fun of them? The jokes are still going to fly? Yes. Right. But if they had beat Florida State and then Washington, or Florida State and then Texas, you still would have had people in the background like, well, but it wasn't no SEC team there. So, like, is it really that national championship feel? So, look, I know they look sad, but I'm here to tell you, them boys is ready to go, and Alabama's gonna have a fight on their hands. It ain't gonna be no rollover. I can promise you that. We ain't getting blown out. What was the TCU score? 65-0, 65. Yeah, that ain't happening in the Alabama fans. That ain't happening.
Say they not eating chicken wings on
y'all. No, you're gonna have to play all 4 quarters.
I mean, but yeah, that was my thing. Like, y'all should be happy that this happened, because I just feel like you said, man, if y'all beat Bama and then go ahead and win the natty against either 2 or 3 or whatever, like, yeah, like you said, we can crack jokes about the sign stealing, but what happened on the field happened on the field, man, and that's what means more. I do want to say this though, right? Because the reason why I had picked Bama against Georgia was Jalen Milroe, bro, being the X factor.
Yeah.
And it's just like the one thing that we have talked about on this platform, on Best Damn Media and on Buckeye BS, right, was the fact of how Georgia just got them linebackers and them safeties that know how to come down, know how to hit, know how to get perfect angles, just them dogs, right? But they still couldn't. I mean, yeah, they got Jalen Milroe down. He took a couple sacks. He does that. But still, he was able to overcome all of that and make big plays. And then you're just talking about like Nick Saban doing what Ryan Day can't do. Ryan Day won't go for it on 4th and 2, but Nick Saban going for it on 4th and long. Like, and Jalen Milroe just saying, hey, I'm that guy. You could put your faith in me regardless. Like, I want you to talk about that, man. Jalen Milroe being that X factor. What do you think the plan is for that guy, man?
So I'm about to shock you real quick, Mike. First things first. Georgia got them linebackers and got them safeties. I would agree with you. Top tier. But the one thing that I was shocked, and I had to go back, somebody had to send me clips in the All-22 to kind of make me believe it. This Georgia team, the one main ingredient that they are missing from the past 2 championship teams is Georgia has had them dogs up front. This team this year don't have them dogs. I watched they defensive tackle get picked up and moved out of a hole multiple times. Double teams, single team. It didn't matter. 78 was getting moved out the hole. And I couldn't believe it until they sent me the clips. And this they starting D tackle. Jordan Davis wasn't going for that.
Right.
Like, I remember in 21 going against that defensive line where they D tackles was running sideline to sideline with Blake Corum chasing him down. They don't have that. And that's what makes their back end so great is when they have those, they can pressure you with 4 and sit back in zone and then come downhill. So
you saying your front seven is better?
I wouldn't say. I would say my front four is better than their front four.
Okay.
I think Kenneth Grant is better than the D tackle they have, and I think consistently Chris Jenkins, Braden McGregor, that front four, the way we rotate them guys, I think they're better than Georgia this year. I do think that Georgia has certain aspects of them that are better than Michigan. Look, the proof's in the pudding on the recruiting. They got 5 stars all over the field, but I think that was the big thing for them against Bama. Now Miro is playing out of his mind. Like the Miro we saw, they got benched, and this Jalen Miro is 2 different people.
Exactly.
The came down, the football came down. He got his own version of Space Jam where he ain't got his powers back. I'm not sure. He is a different athlete, and he's going to be a problem for our defense to kind of bottle up. We don't have that in the Big Ten. Okay. But what I was told by somebody who I trust that he an X's and O's guy, I asked him to tell me, has Michigan seen a defense as good as Alabama this season? His exact words was, Michigan has seen 2. And if you could combine the 2 that they seen in season, they would be Alabama's defense. And you know what 2 he said? He said, if I could take Penn State's athleticism and I could combine it with Ohio State's talent, you'd have Alabama's defense. So in this season, Michigan has seen a version of Alabama's defense twice. So when they're going to go into game planning, they're going to have to look at how they were able to move the ball effectively against both defenses. So the problem that I think Michigan is going to be faced with is the same problem that I think Alabama is going to be faced with. Who's going to take advantage of the linebackers? Because I think that's where you got to beat Alabama. You got to get your tight ends involved in Alabama because that pass rush is coming. We know Alabama got a pass rush. Carson,
you think you're going to be able to take advantage of Alabama's linebacker?
Well, the linebackers are probably going to be who's going to be facing our tight ends. I think that's where our matchup is with the tight ends.
Bruh, they way better in pass coverage than Ohio. Ohio State linebackers get an F in pass coverage. F in pass coverage, bro. I'm sorry,
y'all get an F in the middle of the field, bro.
God damn.
But I will say that if you go back and look at some of Bama's games where they played close, I said this game have to be played below 30s, right? Every game that Bama has won close, they ain't got 30 points. The highest they got is 27.
Yep.
The teams that have been close, it's like a 27-24 type game. You got to muddy it up that type of way against Bama to beat them. Of course, you're going to have to spy Miro, and that still may not be enough. But our linemen going to have to be disciplining gaps and not give rushing lanes to Miro, because if you give it to him, he's going to take it and he's going to run all over you. So I'm pretty sure that's what they're going to focus on. And then on offense, of course, we're going to try to run the ball. But, I mean, Carson Beck, not saying JJ is Carson Beck, but he threw for 250 yards, right? So they can be passed on. Question is, are you going to make the plays to pass them? That's the real question. I think they got to play the best game that they played all season. And every time I've said that, they've done it. I said they had to play the best game that they played all season against Ohio State.
Stop saying it.
They played it. So, I mean, look.
This right here, I do want to talk to you about, bro, because I've been heavy on this for a couple years, bro. Harbaugh ain't won no bowl game without Brady Hoke's players. What's up with this? What's up with this postseason, man? And Jim Harbaugh.
I mean, the record is what the record is. He won at 7. I can't argue against the record. It is what it is. But I can tell you that the last year he had Brady Hoke's players, he actually lost because most of them sat out. That Florida State game that we lost by a point, you get Butt go down with a torn ACL and Peppers didn't play, right? So I'm pretty sure they know the record. They knew that he was what 0-5 against y'all. Something had to change. I mean, I think last year they were over prepared. They were trying to do too much to be cute, and they over prepared. I think this year they're gonna do it a little bit different. They learned from some of their mistakes they've had over the past 2 years in the CFP. And then I don't know, this might sound cliche, but I just feel like he due for one. He one of them coaches like when Dabo won his first one, everybody was like Dabo due. Like he was just due to win a championship. Yes, he had a generational quarterback and he probably had the best team of Clemson at the time. But when he was going into those games, everybody was just like Clemson just due for one. Dabo is due to get one. I feel like Jim has gotten to those points where he's knocked on the door, and I just think that this version that you're going to see on January 1st is probably going to be different than any version that you've seen of Michigan. I truly believe that, and that's not just fan talk. That's me listening to the connections I have on the staff, and what they telling me is like, them boys going to lock in. They understand that the way that this team is constructed, it is the best roster they've had to win a natty. Okay. They got to go get it done now. It can look good on paper, but if you ain't gonna execute on the field, it's nothing. And to the Iowa game, bro, they just ran vanilla across the board.
It was just vanilla. That's what
they were trying to get out. They were just trying to get out without no injuries. But don't sleep. They still got on them boys after the game. It was like, we can't play like that. Even if we play vanilla, we still should be putting up 35 points. 35.
That's what I was saying. Exactly. Okay, so I just want y'all to agree.
No, they're holding them accountable for sure.
Okay, right? I just want to say we agree on that.
Yeah. It was a vanilla game plan because they knew they couldn't afford Michigan. The way it's like at certain positions, they can't afford. We can't afford another Zenner to go down, right?
See, this is why I like talking to you, because you real. Because people said I was trolling when I was like, no, I feel like they should at least put up 30-something points on them. Like,
yeah. I mean, there was lack of execution. Balls were being dropped. Assignments were being missed. If you go back and look through the all 22, there were blocks being missed. Like, we are a block. When we run to the outside on the perimeter, we pride ourselves on our receivers getting hands on those corners. Blocks was being missed. They're going to clean up all of that. They understand that they cannot play like they played there and beat Bama or even stand a game at Bama, which is, to me, is a good sign of relief because I think if they go out and blow them out with ease, they go into the prep cocky, like, we the number one team. Bama going to have to come beat us. No, they're in prep like, this Bama. We got to lock that. We got to lock the hell in.
Yeah, man. So I'll tell you this. So, of y'all, the winner of y'all game, who do you see from the Washington and the Texas game?
It's gonna be interesting, Mike, because I think Washington can stress Texas with that pass game. It was the reason why I said that when I added before Bama got in, I said Washington would be a problem when they originally said we was gonna be the 2-3. I said Washington is going to be a problem because they run the same kind of offense that y'all run, except for they play call is a lot more aggressive than yours is. When you talk about DeBoer's to Ryan Day, right? He gonna put 4 receivers on the field and he gonna put them in passing and he gonna let it rip with Penix.
Yeah.
And to beat Texas, I think you got to throw the ball. Like, I think Texas can kind of control the line of scrimmage. They got a good offensive line, got a good defensive line. But if you really want to stress them out, put them 4 receivers out there and let them run around. If you go and look at some of the games that they struggle with, those people was throwing the ball around the field. You know what I'm saying? So, I mean, right now, if I'm a betting man, I'm probably taking I'm still probably going to take Texas just because I don't trust Washington defense. And I think Texas is going to try to run the ball and play ball control just like Michigan would against them. And so I probably lean Texas right now.
That's where I'm leaning. And like I said earlier, was the simple fact of that Washington defense that we saw in the conference championship game is not the Washington defense that we've seen all season. No. That was completely different. So it's just hard for me to just continuously like go off of that into the next game. Now let's see. I mean, I'm hearing that they're getting healthy on the defensive side of the ball, and that was the difference. So we'll see. I think it's going to make for interesting matchup. I think both games are going to be amazing. Disney.
Texas Cincinnati scary. I'm telling y'all right now. Me and Mike live down here. I moved to Houston.
Hey.
Mike live in Dallas. Hey, these people down here. Hey, these people down here are cold. They are part of a cult. Either you're part of the Texas A&M cult or the Longhorn cult.
That parade gonna be crazy.
They are going to descend on Houston, and you ain't gonna be able to get no hotel rooms. No. You ain't gonna be able to get no tickets because everybody gonna have hookups. Even though it's supposed to be evenly split 50-50, I guarantee you it's gonna be 75-25 in that stadium. That's
parking already. Yeah, parking already sucks. It's gonna be 10 times.
It's gonna be trash just to get into the city.
Like, man.
Yeah, and I live on the
just to get into the city.
Yeah,
that's gonna be crazy.
Yeah,
I know the whole city.
But I appreciate y'all. I want to hold y'all show up. I appreciate y'all for letting
me. Man, if you want to hang out with us, you can, man.
I'm cool.
Yeah.
All
right, yeah. Let's get into the New York 6 matchups, man. We got some. I don't know about y'all, but as we get into the New York 6 matchups, I'm not too interested in them, man. I don't really like the matchups at all. The Penn State Ole Miss one, I would say would be a type of matchup I do want to see, but I just hate the simple fact that Penn State has to go through some, coaching changes on the offensive coordinator. So they didn't get that consistency all year, right? Now, maybe it'll help them, getting the whole month to prepare and things like that. But, that's probably the only one. The Georgia-Florida State, I just don't feel like it's fair again. That's the reason why you don't have Florida State in the CFP. Like that is just not fair.
Yeah.
Oregon and Liberty, again, I just feel like that's not fair. I just think that these group of 5 schools need their own CFP. There's no reason for them to be playing in these games. I mean, and then most of the time when they do win it, it's because the other team's players all sat out. And I ain't gonna lie, man. This Ohio State Mizzou game, I was a little bit nervous about it, man. But Disney, I need you to go ahead and put the tweet up, man. Put the tweet up, man.
Let me grab it.
Yeah, put the tweet up, man. I was a little bit nervous about this game, man. But my guy Devin Brown, he just tweeted out this one photo, man. And some people was like, "Oh, what does this mean?" But I knew what it mean. I'm a history buff, bro. And basically, these some guys who was about to go conquer, they was about to go conquer some folks, man. And they said, burn the boats. Because the only way that we are leaving here is with the dub, right? Basically, like, we about to go kill these folks. We about to go take their stuff, right? And there is no return. So what that tells me is Devin Brown saying, hey, if Ryan Day want to go ahead, bring a QB in, I'm here. Let them know I am here. I'm competing. And that's the type of fight that I wanted to see in the quarterback. And honestly, from what all we were hearing or whatever was that Devin Brown had that fight in him. Everything was looking like him until he got hurt. All of this stuff, right? So I'm kind of interested. What you think, Darnell?
I probably will tune in to you guys' game just because it's the rivalry. So you got to tune in and peek in just because y'all gonna be before us. So we know we gonna get the trolls from y'all side when we play Bama. So I'll probably peek in a little bit. Look, I've been very much so, and let me preface this by saying I do think the committee got it right. But from a person that played, not at college, high school.
No, I feel you.
And Little League. And to be told growing up when we had those showboats that it's not about one person, it's about the whole landscape of the team. Look, if Florida State would go down there and take all them people bowl merchandise, take their free trip, and then tell Georgia, hey, thanks, but no thanks. We ain't playing in the game. We gonna just stay with 13-0 and have our little forfeit. I couldn't blame them. You know what I'm saying? Like they're not good enough to be in the game as currently constructed. However, it's tough because them boys put their bodies on the line for 13 games and all through the summer and all through the spring. and now they're not even gonna have a chance to play for a natty. That's the tough thing, right? And we're partially to blame for that, because I told people, look, if we do what we supposed to do against TCU, I actually think they get in this year. But because that national championship game was 65, and you had players eating chicken on the sideline on national TV, I think they had flashbacks, and they was like, bro, if we put Florida State in, and let's say we put them against Michigan, and Michigan don't do the job, right? They in the national championship with a backup quarterback. Let's say they play Texas, and Texas blow them out, right? Or if we put them over there against Washington, they upset Washington. Now they in the national championship against Michigan or Texas, and they blow them out. Like, we can't have that. The only knock I have on the committee is if Florida State is as bad as you say they are without Jordan Travis, then what the hell are they doing being ranked ahead of Ohio State and Georgia? Because technically, as constructed, those two teams are better than them. If you guys played them, if Georgia played them, and I probably would even argue if Oregon played them, they're better than them. So they actually should just fall back. You know what I'm saying? Like, I felt like it was a slap in the face to put them at 5. It was like, yeah, y'all ain't good enough to play at this. We gonna put you at 5 to make you game.
No, I thought it was more of a. I took it as it was more of a respect thing. Like, I don't compare it to the TCU thing because of the simple fact, like, TCU still had their leader, like they still had their quarterback, and the simple fact is we got to see TCU and how they looked at their quarterback and stuff all year, right?
Yeah.
Now,
Right.
the thing about FSU is you see how they look with their second string quarterback. You see how they look with their third string quarterback. And then it's just like, I'm good on that.
It's going to be rough on them. It's going to be rough on them against Georgia.
So, and then here's my thing as well. It's like, if you're going to sit out the Georgia game, all that does is validate everything that the committee said. Like, I feel you on what you're saying, but here's the thing. Everybody committed to and signed up for the CFP, knowing knowing what the CFP criteria was, knowing that the criteria has it in it where if your key players get hurt, it can count against you. So you signed up for that, and now you bitching about it. Like,
I took it more as a shot though to ESPN, because they'd have to scramble if that happened. And to the ACC, because the ACC did it to themselves twice. The commissioner could have voted. We could have had a 12-team playoff this season.
Exactly.
That's the first time. The second time is, did you know that it's 5 ACC members on the committee this year? So think about it. It's a 13-team committee. 5 of the teams are represented by the ACC. So if they just all voted Florida State, then technically you would only need two people that were representatives of other conferences to say you deserve to be in. So that tells me right there that Boo Kerrigan, who's the chair, and the other 4 members was like, nah, they're not good enough to be in, and they left you out. So, you know, it's a lot of things that go on to that. I was just coming from an angle of, you mess over the ACC and you mess over ESPN, because I truly believe the ACC understands that Florida is about to leave. Florida, Clemson.
How? ACC is contracted under ESPN.
Mike.
ACC, hold on. And this is why I tell people, like, this falls so much more on Florida State than people realize. Because yes, the alliance, like you talked about, right? But here's the thing, Florida State, you agreed to this shitty contract with ESPN. You signed your name on the dotted fucking line. And ESPN was like, hey, here's this contract we want you to sign. We want your soul, and it don't mean nothing. And they told you. You see every other conference and what they're making, and they're making way more. And I'm sorry to use this word, but just look like the ACC in a slave deal, bro. Flat out, bro. Because y'all signed on to this. And here's the thing: you didn't have to sign on to that. You could have started saying, hey, I want to go to the SEC or the Big Ten. We would have took you there.
So, Mike, you know what they told me my 1 year of law school when I took contracts? The first rule when we got in, my contracts teacher, and I thought it was crazy when she told me that, but she said, always remember this. Every contract is meant to be broken. There's always an out. There's always a loophole. That's why they pay people with the big bucks to figure it out. I'm not saying that they didn't get what they deserve. The people that are complaining, the Clemsons, the Florida States, the Miamis who's complaining. But I think that they're going to try to figure out a way out of that contract. And that's why I don't think they go into the SEC, because it makes no sense. Why would ESPN allow you to break a contract with them in one group that they represent to go join another conference that they represent, for them to have to pay you more money in the new conference? So this Florida State Clemson to the SEC, it never made sense to me. I think Fox, CBS, and NBC are going to work out a deal for them to come to the Big Ten because they want the TV revenue from that portion of the state. That's the only, if you look at how our conference is constructed right now, that's the only place we don't have viewership is the South. When they get the South, Fox, NBC, and CBS will have the whole United States covered. West Coast, Midwest, East Coast, South. And they can call themselves clearly a coast-to-coast league. That's the
national conference.
That's the plan.
Yeah.
And then some of these smaller schools will fall into the SEC, and it's just going to be two conferences. It's going to be the AFC, which is the Big Ten, versus the NFC. Which is the SEC. Watch what I tell you. I wouldn't give it 3 to 4 years.
I give it about 5 to 10.
That's where we at. And so, look, we could go on today and talk about Florida State. It happened to them. I still think the 4 best teams, actually, to be honest with you, if you really want me to stir some stuff up, I actually think Georgia should have got in over Texas if we really talking about the 4 best teams.
If
we really talking about the 4 best teams.
But here's the thing, Darnell.
You can make an argument that better than Washington.
Here's my thing, though. Like, here's my thing. If you did that, if you left Texas out, bro, from here on out, all we would get is big team versus cupcake teams in non-conference from here on out, bro. Everybody would get no, because I see people are still hanging in their contracts. Like, y'all haven't ended your contract with Texas, right?
Well, we ain't ended our contract with Texas because Fox won't allow it.
Okay.
The SEC don't want them playing the game. The SEC don't want Oklahoma playing y'all. It messes with the numbers.
They don't.
It messes with the numbers.
Yeah.
I just think, like, some people are keeping them games. I think Ohio State, like, we got a cupcake schedule next year.
Yeah, but y'all play Oklahoma the year after that.
But yeah.
What I'm saying is the SEC don't want them to play that game with y'all. Because they want to get as many teams in to this 12-team playoff as possible. Because you got to remember, bro, every team that's in, they getting $10 million. So if you get 6 teams in, that's $60 million for the conference. Why do I want you to go play versus Ohio State at the beginning of the year for you to potentially get popped, and then you lose 2 in conference, and now you a 9-3 Oklahoma that's being left out because you played an unnecessary game against Ohio State, and Big Ten telling Ohio State the same thing.
And if
we got enough competition for you in conference.
And if you look at the conference rankings right now, just out, and I think at 13, or is it 13 or 14? That team is a 3-loss team. So it just lets you know, like, you can only lose 2 games next year. And I'm gonna tell you this: there's still going to be a 2-team team that's going to be left out, that's going to be pissed off because they're going to get their spot taken by a G5 school.
Yes.
So,
yes.
But before we get out of here, I do want to ask y'all, man, because this was one bowl game that I just thought was funny. Man, you know, this fan base is loud as hell on the spaces, loud as hell on the Twitter/X app, man. Miami versus Rutgers, bruh. You know, they used to be in a conference together, man. If Greg Schiano go down there and spank Miami, bruh, well, what do y'all think about that, man?
Well, better question is, what do you think about it? Because y'all tend to fight them for recruits. We don't give them, unfortunately, we don't give them no fight. We just be like, go take them. We ain't even gonna pay them. Just go take them. So, I mean, look, if they lose the Rutgers,
they've been putting Ohio State in the body bag with recruits.
I think it would be hilarious for them to lose the Rutgers. I don't know if they would, but who's gonna be the quarterback?
Yeah,
who the quarterback of Miami right now? They all in the portal.
All I'm saying, Greg Schiano guys look like they gonna fight.
You know they gonna fight. That's in his DNA.
So I mean, I think honestly, like that, you know, like I told y'all, I wasn't too excited about most of those other New Year's 6 bowl games, but that's one of the games that I'm kind of intrigued in, man, because you know I hear these Miami fans talking about, oh, we got to the Big Ten, we're going undefeated, we do this and we do that. So it's just like, make sure y'all do that, bro. Don't let the fighting Greg Schianos come out there and get you, bro, because they known for getting folks and giving their best game, bro. Them dudes fight. So I don't think that game's gonna be a cupcake like Miami fans think.
No. I don't think no Big Ten team this year is gonna be a cupcake. To be honest, I told Tennessee fans, I said, hey, that Iowa defense. Now y'all gonna kill them on defense against their offense. They can't move the ball. But they defense, they gonna give you some problems. It's gonna be a low scoring game. I still think Tennessee beat them, but like to just think you gonna go in and beat them by 40 because it's Iowa, they're gonna show you in that bowl game that defense is a little bit better than what you think it is.
Oh, and don't throw no picks because they defense definitely know how to block downfield and get their guys in the end zone too. So that's something that they practice.
I tell you this, I am excited for Franklin Lane Kiffin. I think it's an interesting matchup. Penn State. I really wanted Penn State against Missouri because Missouri fans was talking greasy about how they could just wipe the floor with a Big Ten team, and they were targeting Penn State. They kept Ohio State and Michigan out of it, and they were targeting Penn State. So I hate that I didn't get that matchup, but I'll take the Ole Miss Penn State matchup.
Hey, Penn State be getting it, bro. Like, they finished third. Like, they have been, like, the third team in, like, at least the top 10. I mean, the top 3 team in the Big Ten, right? But everybody goes at them. Like, even Auburn, when they were down, was going at Penn State. Like, we're from the SEC. Like, what is up with the disrespect? Is it just because of the James Franklin effect, or what is it? Bro?
I think so. They're going to have to show Ole Miss, though. They're going to have to show Ole Miss. So
big fact.
Hey, the portal is open. It's alive and well. I'll say this and I'll shut up. I think the portal should show fans, and I know you guys have a lot of fans that watch out Ohio State, just like Michigan and whatever, right? I think the portal this year should show fans that just because you lose out on a recruit in this year's class, don't go on the internet talking crazy. Because in a year or two, that same person may be back in the portal. And now you got to eat your words. And now you begging that guy to come to your school. So if they don't pick your school now, just be cool. Because as we're seeing now, the portal, college football is becoming free agency. These kids signing a 1-2 year deal. And then their sophomore year, if they're not getting what they were promised or what they thought they could get, I'm declaring for over 1,000 kids in the portal right now. 4 5 stars, 5 and 4 stars. Who you was? I can't believe they paid this kid. They took this kid away from me. Now they not even at Texas A&M no more. They not even at my no more. You know what I'm saying? They in the portal, and when you hear the names of the schools they looking at, your school usually be on there. And what do they say? They was high on Michigan's board. Now they recruiting them. They was high on Ohio State or Tennessee or Florida's board. Now they recruiting them. So I just want everybody to take a pause in this recruiting madness. Respect these kids. Don't be talking crazy to them, saying crazy stuff on the internet, because you will have to eat your words. I guarantee it.
Big facts, man. And while we got y'all here, man, make sure y'all like, share, and subscribe, man. Best Damn Media. We bringing out content every day, and we got a lot planned for y'all in the postseason, during this off season as well. So make sure y'all like, share, and subscribe, man. We appreciate Darnell coming on, man, and what he was saying about the portal is just real. And also, if you're an athlete, if you're a high school player, you know, and your main number one thing, I understand that you want to take care of your family. I understand that you want that NIL, but you have to understand the difference between short-term money and long-term money. You need to be choosing those programs who are established, who you know is not going to be just gone by the wayside and things like that. Because what we're hearing is people are picking these schools for money, and you're seeing it from the players. They're tweeting, yeah, since my freshman year, that money ain't been like that. It just hasn't. I mean, everybody talks about Texas A&M and it's all money, but all we keep seeing is the players are entering the portal for what reason? Because the money is funny. Yep. You're hearing the same thing about Florida State. Everybody, Florida State got that bad. Now you're hearing it from the players' mouth. The money is funny. Just be careful with that, man. So, but Darnell,
go get you some development, man.
Development. That's the long-term money.
Yep, that'll take you a longer way when you making it to that goal of being an NFL draft prospect. Dante Morris just came out and said, his father came out and said, the next school he goes to, he's not looking for money. He's looking for development because they understand that if you want to get to that next level, you got to be developed.
Big facts. That's what we're talking about. That's the short term versus the long term that we are actually talking about, man. Like this school might be giving you that short term NIL, but then you go in the draft, and here's the thing, because I learned this as well talking to some people who've played in the NFL, right? And I'm talking about who are first round picks. Y'all can go ahead right here on Best Damn Media. We have them right here on this platform, right? So let's say you know your goal is just to make it to the NFL, but you're drafted 4th, 5th round, right? You might be better, or you go undrafted, but you think you got a chance. You're better than the guy who got drafted ahead of you. But the reason why you won't get a shot is because they're paying him more. You might be better. But you're not going to get that chance that you deserve because they're paying somebody else more for that position. And that's why you want to go somewhere where you're developed and get drafted highly, bro. So, I mean, definitely athletes, if you're a parent, make sure you're telling this to your nieces, nephews, and all of that. Development matters. That's the long-term money, man.
Patience.
Darnell, patience. Darnell, let the people know where they can follow you, man.
Man, I got my Twitter handle, Darnell J. Porter. You can find me on Twitter. I'm always in spaces with Mike. It's crazy on those spaces. If y'all ever come in there, you never know what you're going to hear. Me and my partner, we have a actual show called Michigan Unplugged. We actually just dropped the episode reviewing everything yesterday. So that's on, we have an Instagram page, Twitter, and YouTube channel. And we frequent Best Damn Media. Those are our guys. It's a rivalry, but we got respect for them boys outside of the rivalry. And so you may see me or Giovanni on one of their shows every once in a while, just, having a little banter back and forth. But I appreciate y'all letting me come on the show and go back and forth with you guys. It should be a great playoff. 4 teams that are in, and if God bless me and they in the Natty, you already know I'm gonna be there, Mike. I'm gonna take a picture with the trophy in my Michigan gear. I will be in NRG. I already talked to my people that's on the staff. They like, hey, we get there, you in the building. So I will be rooting even 10 times harder for the Rose Bowl because I'm not going for them to get to Houston.
Bad, man. Hey, I feel you on that, man. Definitely represent. You can find me at 216_wildboy on Twitter and Instagram. Also, make sure you catch us. The flagship show of this platform is Buckeye BS every Sunday at 10 a.m. Eastern. Also, you got Buckeye Roast every morning at 8 a.m. Eastern time. And then right here, Fans Edge. We started a little bit late today, but 7:30 Eastern every Wednesday. And be looking for Q and Chris to be dropping the state of the program. They're going to be dropping that soon, hopefully within the next week or two, because I know Ohio State fans, y'all definitely want to know what's the state of the Ohio State program with the quarterback battle going on, or the quarterback portal was going on. So definitely stay tuned into that. Disney, where can the people find you?
Hey, and you can find me on all social media platforms at Walt K Disney. We appreciate y'all tuning in tonight, and special thanks to Darnell for jumping on the show tonight. We appreciate it coming in with some really good information, and I hope to see everyone same time next week. And with that, anything else? I think we're out.